Hi there, we are back with our UFC Blog Part 3. In life, we all have pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is when I open the door for somebody and they don't say thanks. But this is UFC. Sarah, what are some of your UFC pet peeves right now?
Well, Keith, my current pet peeve is, oddly enough, Vitor Belfort. I'm looking at you. So recently, Vitor Belfort was given the opportunity to have a interim fight for the interim championship. And he said, "No, I will not do it." Because he's apparently being a snotbag. So he will only fight for the championship if he is fighting for the actual championship. Or, because I think they wanted to hook him up with either, it was like Machida or somebody else that he was going to fight for the interim. Okay. He said no, but maybe he'd do it if he got to fight Munoz or Yoel. And I was like, so you're going to just go and tell Dana how things are going to go and you haven't been relevant in a really long time. So I find that is a bit of a pet peeve of mine.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about Vitor Belfort is, do you watch football at all?
Well, when I do, I'm really just looking at the butts. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so in football, there's a thing called, you know, you're faking out your opponent because you want them to jump offside. You want them to flinch.
Okay.
And when this Vitor Belfort Chris Weidman fight came up, it was okay. The waiting game was on. We're just checking checking the web to see when is this fight going to get called off because Vitor is tested for something.
Yeah, someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I guess Weidman is realized that Vitor's not flinching. This fight might actually happen, and then he gets injured again. So I think my biggest pet peeve is the fact that all of these so-called champions are constantly getting injured. I have a buddy of mine who will say to me, "You know what, Keith, if you train in that UFC schedule and that, that enduring, training camp, you're probably going to get injured too." And I get that, but UFC isn't the only, physical sport out there. You don't hear about football players or soccer players getting injured at the rate that these UFC fighters do. And it always seems to be the champions that are coming up to defend their titles.
And it's really only ever since the instated the insurance policy.
Yeah.
As soon as the insurance was in place for the fighters,
yeah.
Oh, I'm hurt, I can't fight, but I still get some monies.
Exactly. So let's talk about some fights that are coming up.
Yeah.
We've got Ronda Rousey and Zingano coming up. So what do you think of that? First round armbar?
I actually think if anybody can do it, it's going to be Zingano. Like, when she first came out on the scene, she was so awesome. And, that fight was supposed to happen, but then she got hurt. And the only thing that I'm worried about is Zingano, I don't know if everyone knows this, but she went through some stuff after that loss. Like, her husband, committed suicide. They ran a gym together. So, my only concern is I think that she has the talent to, beat the bejesus out of Ronda. Even Ronda's saying, she's going to be the most legit fight that I have to do. But I'm worried about her mind. When you have something that traumatic in your life, that does something to you. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
But I think that if anybody can all you have to worry about is defending the armbar. I don't know why no one's figured that out yet, but...
Do you think we'll ever see Cyborg in the UFC?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that she's gonna make the weight class, or we're not still sure if she has a penis or not. So we should probably find that out first.
Okay.
So she knows what division to be in.
Okay. I might need to turn on the air conditioning. Things might get a little hot in here. Conor McGregor.
Woo!
And Jose Aldo. So here's the thing. So you're watching that last Conor McGregor fight against Seaver.
Awesome.
And going into the fight, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is such a punk. So Chael Sonnen,
he's got him out.
Chael Sonnen,
but he's got that talent to back it up.
But here's what I liked about him. I was very much raised on respect and on class, and when somebody puts their hand out to shake your hand, if you don't shake their hand back, that's probably one of the most classless things.
And the biggest middle finger.
And I understand that there's so much talk and there's so much trash talk going back and forth between both camps. But when he put his hand out and Seaver just kind of ignored it, I was okay with him giving him the finger.
Absolutely.
And as I said in a previous blog, if you're gonna disrespect somebody like that, you better come ready to whip their butt. And Seaver got knocked out.
Yeah, he was. So he was a little underrated too. He was ranked 10th, and McGregor was 4th at the time or something like that. Anyways, so no one gave Seaver the time of day, but the guy's got some crazy kicks. I think he's underrated a little bit. But the thing I love about Conor McGregor, other than the fact that he is smoking hot, He has a mouth on him for sure, but he's got the talent to actually back up the mouth, and you gotta respect that. And then after the fight, getting right in Aldo's face, I was loving it. And Aldo not flinching was like, oh, I was like, yes, I want to see this fight. I want to see this fight.
Here, I'm glad you touched on that, because runs to the octagon. Think about this. You're sitting cage side. Somebody runs to the octagon, jumps over the cage, runs right up
and
to you,
jabbed.
and he didn't blink.
Yeah, like, he was laughing. He didn't flinch. Nothing.
All.
Nothing.
And
so good.
I'll if we had this conversation about a year ago, I did not tend to pay a lot of attention to the divisions that were lighter than welterweight.
Well, because you're not going to see knockouts, right?
Right. But now I find because of all these champions taking hiatus every now and then, I'm finding these divisions so entertaining. I want to see this fight. I'm excited to see this fight, and I think the fact that it's coinciding with Fight Week is going to be great. Who do you like in that fight? Now, putting aside the fact of your crush on McGregor, do you think McGregor has a good chance of taking out Aldo?
I do.
When I talk to people,
who
are ridiculously knowledgeable about this, like you, there seems to be a split.
You know, understandable though. I mean, it's just, I think that Conor McGregor is unpredictable, and because he's fresh and he's got like new tactics that I think is just unpredictable is the best word that I can use for it. He's hard to plan for. He's hard to prepare for. He's hard to have a game plan for.
Yeah.
And the kid is good. Like, he did some testing, and for the super smart people that are smarter than me, like
Mensa?
yeah, he did. Well, no, like an actual Mensa test. But he did like this test where they were testing how quickly he could do a punch.
Okay, yeah.
And like it was just insane. His speed and his agility was just unreal. Now Jose Aldo, I like him. Like I've liked him for a long time. I got a T-shirt. You know, like I love that guy. But I think Conor McGregor, he's gonna have the reach on him. He's gonna have the speed on him. It's gonna be interesting. I think Conor might be able to actually knock him out.
And I think Aldo's last fight was at Chad Mendes. He fought.
Yeah.
And if you go back and you look at that fight, as I've done, there was a couple of times where Mendes just missed with the uppercut. So if you think if McGregor's timing is on, we could be saying and new. So we'll see.
It's true.
Okay, I want to wrap up. I want to talk about dream fights. Either dream fights that could have happened or dream fights that you'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
I know what mine is. What would yours be?
I'm going to have to go for a throwback.
Okay.
You know, I've always had a soft spot for Randy Couture. I got to meet him. He's a big sweetheart. I just love him as a fighter. He's a fantastic champion. So I think the one fight that he always wanted to have was against Fedor. So I think I would have liked to have seen Randy Couture versus Fedor in their heyday.
Okay.
Not when they got a little old and slower. But in their heyday, I think that would have been a boss fight.
And I think for myself, the fight that I would like to see, which could still happen, it probably won't because of the whole, you don't want to see God bleed concept. But I would like to see the current light heavyweight champion John Jones take on the heavyweight champion, or the real heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez. I think both of them are fantastic in their own right. And let's be honest, you've got John Jones who probably walks around at around 230 or so. So I don't think it's much of a stretch for him to come up to heavyweight. And I think that would be an absolutely insane
It would be
fight.
really actually interesting to see that fight, just because Cain Velasquez he's a thick boy, but Jones is a long boy.
Yeah.
You know, so that it could be interesting.
Yeah, so
could
I think
be
it'd be
For
fantastic.
sure.
Listen, I want to thank you so much for taking the
Thanks
time.
for having me, Keith.
For coming. Will you come back again?
Of course.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith. Her name is Sarah. As always, you can get a hold of me, CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Hopefully all 3 of these blogs, because they're all informative and fun, and you really never know what Sarah's going to say. So thank you so much for checking this out, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.